It is the victory moment with CK. Join the show as we chat victory in the midst of the uncertainty in life, because each day can be a victory moment if you don't quit, if you don't give up, and if you don't let go. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Victory Moment with CK. I am so excited with this particular edition and episode, as I have a co-host, and I'm always excited when I have a guest co-host, or guest co-host, because they always bring so much awesomeness to the table. And today we're gonna be chatting with Monique Pearson. And listen, I am just again excited to connect with her, as today we're going to talk about SWOAR, which is what she does and all of that. And we are going to talk about, basically soaring without limits. And I'm looking forward to talking with her. You're gonna see her come on in a few moments. You're gonna see me introduce her, and we're gonna just chat it up and just talk to you about soaring without limits. Me a minute, and I want to bring her on. I am excited about bringing her on, and we're going to share so many other things in reference to bring, her connecting and you connecting to her. So listen, again, we're going to really chat it up. So let's bring Monique on. The time is far spent. We are excited to connect and just bring to you some good things. So listen, Monique Pearson. She is a coach, a mindset coach. Let me bring it up. She's a mindset coach. She's a speaker, author, and travelologist. Travelologist. She assists women to elevate, expand, and explore their mindsets. As you can see, she has a lot going on, and we connect in more than one way, because we love to help others travel. We love to help you expand who you are and what you do. So I want everybody, as I bring this down, to welcome Monique. As I bring her on, we want you to welcome her as she comes to really bring some good information. And as we chat it up and we talk to you, and we both just talk to you about expanding, about what going to that next level. So we welcome you, Monique, to the stage. Welcome.
Thank you, CK. So happy to be here before your listeners and be able to share. So appreciate you having me on your platform today.
Awesome. And you can share a little bit more of who you are before we start with our questions and all of that stuff, and our chat, I should say, as we
Uh-huh.
start with our chat. What else would you want to share with the people as we are about to start?
Well, one, of course, I introduce myself again, Monique Pearson, and it's called a travelologist. I self proclaim myself a doctor of travel for being a woman who has traveled for close to almost 30 years now. So, my initial travels started as me joining at the age of 18, straight out of high school, as into the United States Army. And that is what opened up the world to me, and the world has been at my footsteps ever since. Living as a contractor in the Middle East, I've lived in Europe, I've lived in Asia. So I'm very well versed in multiple cultures, knowing how to maneuver and be with multiple backgrounds, different ethnicities of people. But most of all, I will say myself and call myself to be a servant. So I started initially serving in the military, then serving as a federal employee, and then, of course, serving in ventures that God has placed on my spirit to do. One being Soaring Without Limits Enterprises, which we will talk about here, but also not to mention my charity organization, Professionista. And the women in particular, I serve women, helping women to be able to fill in the gaps for others who may not have mentors, who may not have coaches, or who may not have those strong family units at home, that they have someone else who can invest in them and help them to get to be and walk into their calling, especially starting with the young women who are maturing into womenhood themselves.
And definitely we connected because especially because of travels.
Mm-hmm.
That is what we do, and how we want to really help other women and things of that sort, and other people. Well, as I also deal with couples and things of that sort,
Mm-hmm.
and single men and women, because it's something that travels is it changes your life. It
Yeah, it
changes
does.
it changes your life. And if you connect with it, and a lot of times, and you actually shared this, and I actually saw it, talking about like cost and things of that sort, when people have a struggle in reference to basically um paying for travels and things of that sort. But I always tell people it's the planning. It's how you plan. It's how you prepare. And once you
Mm-hmm.
prepare and do it a particular way, travels is not as difficult and as costly as it may seem. You
Right.
know,
I think travel has a bad rap, especially international travel. People automatically make the assumption that it is outside of their means financially.
means.
And that is
Mhm.
absolutely, positively not true. That it will be one of the benefits that you have of working with professionals such as you and I, because we know how to give them ways to make it within their reach. And chiming back in on what you said, far as you either prepare to plan or you prepare to fail.
To
So as it
fail.
pertains to travel, you definitely, if it's an international trip, I recommend at a minimum to have them start out a year in advance. One, so you can make those payments manageable. We can work within the means of your budget. And then that way, once you get there, like you're not coming home worried about if you got lights on, bills paid, and car stolen because it's been
And
repoed.
that's and that's deep right there, because you're telling the truth. You're telling the
Yes.
truth, because that's basically what it is. And it's so funny because even if it's like a short trip, believe it or not, if you don't plan properly, it can be a mess. It can
Mm-hmm.
really be a mess, because you are not aware of what you're walking into. And when
Right.
you're dealing with travels, you have to be aware of what you're walking into as much as you can. And that's one of the things I really bring, to my clients. There's certain things, no, this is not a good time for that.
Mhm.
And that those are some of the things, as professionals, like you said, as a travel consultant, and person has been traveling for a long time like yourself, but what changed my life, and as we're about to go into the initial start of our conversation, is when I went on the trip to Jerusalem, and I
Mhm.
realized culture makes such a difference.
Mhm.
And it just changed my whole life, because I was like, people need to experience this to understand each other, and that takes a lot out of it. But let's talk about soaring. How would you share, as we start this
Mhm.
conversation, with others about soaring? We're just going to talk about soaring,
Okay.
because right, we're going to begin with just talking about soaring. And I'm going to say, to me, soaring means no limits, no boundaries, that just going going for what you desire. That's
Mhm.
my thought. What are your thoughts, as far as as put this whole thing together, swole? How
Well,
what
one, your thought
Mhm.
process that you said, it does encompass that for sure, for sure. But one thing, when I came up with knowing that I was going to start this business, I wanted God to be in the midst of it with me. So it took me probably close to a month or two to come up with this name, because I prayed on it and I wanted to make sure that God was blessing me with it versus me asking Him to co sign on my vision. I needed Him to be the orchestrator of it, and that is where that came to be. So soaring definitely comes with, when we think about soaring, the first thing we think about is flying. And for me, and I think of a bird. And figuratively, we can't soar in anyone else's skies or anyone else's plane until we can soar within our minds. So, soaring is not just about flying and traveling and being able to go and explore and see the world and have no limitations. We are looking at this as swole from a holistic approach, as far as you not having limitations as to what you would like to see in your personal life, in your professional life, in your relationships, in your health, in your walk with your God, or however spiritual practice that you practice. We want you to soar in every realm that consists or that is tied to you, so that you are living a most fulfilled, highest life as you were called to do in all things. So we see it from a holistic approach. And our piece in helping you to play in this is twofold. One, we're helping you to soar as it pertains to opening yourself up to seeing the world, other cultures, as you stated, in ethnicities. But we're also helping you to soar in your mindset and helping you to excel in that regard for those who may be doing well and would like to go to another level of wellness or another level of experts in their particular lanes of expertise. We're going to be giving you that here in the near future, and I can chime more on that as we continue in our discussions. So that is a quick, brief synopsis of what SWOLE means and what we stand for.
I love that as you put it all together, where you talk about it's a holistic. When you're
Mhm.
soaring, it's not just about travel, but it's a holistic, it's a mindset. And
Yeah.
we have to be aware of that that's the need right now. It's a holistic type of perspective. So what does soaring mean? What do you mean when it says soaring without limits? That's what I said, without limits. We talked about, when you talk about the whole perspective of swole,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
when you talk about, no, I always say no limits. And
Mhm.
when you say no limits, and again, I like how you put it all in one perspective of, holistic. So so once you said that, that connected to what I was thinking and looking at, that it's
Mhm.
holistic. We are talking about the full person, mind, body, soul, and spirit. The
Yes, ma'am.
because the only way you can have no limits and no limits can connect. Like, I mean, you know what I mean? Soaring is when you are connecting not just with one thing or another, but holistically putting things in perspective. That means your mindset, your spiritual attitude, what are you believing spiritually? What is your mindset? And those things are part of, you know, no limits. When you talk about
Yeah,
no limits, sowing no
I think,
limits,
yeah.
what are
It has to
your,
be. They're all
go ahead.
connected first because you can't have, I feel as if you have all of those entities playing together harmoniously, there is going to be a limit or some shape or form. If you're not taking care of yourself in your physical body, there's going to be a limitation as to how you can move. If you're not taking care of yourself in your mental health, there's going to be a limitation as to how you can perform. If you're not taking care of yourself as it pertains to your spiritual health, there's going to be a limit into whether you continue to breathe, if you continue to live. So as if you're not investing in each respective area, there is going to be a limit, whether it be physically, spiritually, mentally. And that is why it must be seen from a holistic approach. So that way you are not crippled in any of those areas so that you can continue to not have limitations and live your best life. If all of those are playing together harmoniously, the only limitation that you would have is the ones that you place on yourself. And then we're going back to your thought processes and your mindset as to you not being able to see for yourself that you can get beyond where you are presently, or that you do not believe in yourself that you can have the life that you desire.
And it connects together. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, and as you're talking, it's just flowing together.
Yes.
Because if you're lacking in one thing, it's going to affect the other. and
Mm-hmm.
and that's the bottom line. If you're
Pretty much.
lacking in one thing, and it's just flowing right in to our next thought of, of what, of where we're going when we're talking about the mindset,
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to the mindset and soaring without limits. you know um what can you share in reference to what about the mindset when it comes to soaring without limits? You understand?
Um,
When when like you said, if certain things are, if one thing is lacking or whatever, it's going to affect everything else. So it's going to be hard to soar if into the no limits, if your mindset is, I would say, overwhelmed with
mm-hmm.
negativity, if your mindset is overwhelmed with things that are just not helping where you're going,
Mm-hmm.
connecting with things or people that are not helping where you're going. And like I said, it's not to put down any, as I'm sure, it's not to put down anyone or whatever, but um, the vision. And when you're connecting with people, that's so important. And their mindset, can affect your mindset if you're not, that's why you have to be careful of how you're connecting and who you're connecting with.
Most
You
definitely.
know?
Because that scripture that's coming to me is light has no miss in the midst of darkness. So to me, if you are a positive, aspirational, ambitious woman, and your majority, if I look at and do an inventory of where you invest your time and what your inner circle, those people who you spend the most time with and the most conversation with on the phone, and they are not in alignment to where you are or where you're going, somebody is going to influence someone. And if it is the mix of those two, more than likely, you're not going to go where you're trying to go, where you need to go, because you are constantly rubbing up against someone who is in contradiction of that of which you would like to have. So I definitely would say that is absolutely true. And one, as far as the vision, of how we're going to be helping people in regards to their mindset with SWOL. I'm super excited to announce that we are going to be launching on the 1st of July the Triple E Tribe. So that is elevate, expand, and explore, which you saw when we first came on the screen. That is going to be the community for women to be in the midst of like minded women. And one thing that we are definitely going to be pouring into is to giving you those tools and resources that you need in order to enforce, reinforce, or elevate your current mindsets. And I'm not doing this alone. I'm bringing in some expert thought leaders in their own respective lanes, those who are leadership experts in corporate. I'm going to have therapists who's going to be pouring into these ladies, life coaches, wellness coaches. So everyone that I'm bringing in is going to speak to all those.
It connects with wholeness. Everyone
Right.
is
It's going to
connected
touch
and
upon
doing
every last
certain
one of
things.
those realms. Yes.
Exactly. And that is awesome. Welcome those that are coming in and chiming in. Welcome. We thank you for joining us on this episode of the Victory Moment with CK with my co-host, guest co-host, Monique Pearson. Listen, as we are, getting ready to close out, as we, connect what we're talking about and this soaring without limits. I as the new year came in, and now we're like going to be 6 months. It's unbelievable already.
I know this year.
My
Come on.
mindset was like, it is something different. And it's so funny when I read your, what you shared as far as your bio. And
Mhm.
then, when I saw the basically what you just said, expand and all of that, I said, wow, this is amazing, because this is what we need, that, you know, how, to flow. I call it a flow. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? I call it a flow. And this is what we need. But it all begins, and this is where I'm gonna flow right into the, the other thought that we're gonna talk about is, that mindset. And I've been talking about it since the beginning of the year, because it begins and connects in the mind. And the more you allow anyone to talk into you or into your life, that
Mhm.
affects your movement. And you were just sharing that. And it's
Mhm.
so important to understand that you have to have a mindset that is um that, like you said, that has everything, that flow of a holistic. So that means you're thinking about your mindset, you're thinking about your health, you're thinking about your wellness. As we have someone that really focuses on wellness on with us, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
They focus on wellness. And I did not even realize that this month was considered part of wellness month and so forth, and part
Oh,
of
I can't keep up. There's a different theme
girl,
for every
I'm
month
like,
these days. So
I'm not, girl, I can't.
yeah, I
I just
can't
heard
keep up.
somebody say it. It's so much. I was like, what? That's what I was like, really? And I was
There is
like,
no lack of celebration in our culture. I think we just like us.
exactly. I said, I
You have
can't
a
keep up with
barbecue for
this.
anything, and we're gonna have something for that month.
Something,
Somebody's gonna have a theme.
something. How you say it again? Let's say it again. Something. Something. And I just laugh because I'm like, we're good for that. You know what I mean? We're good for that. And I just start laughing because we're good for that. But our whole, like I said, our wellness is so that holistic. And now you have me stuck on that, because that is where that's where it is. And
Mhm.
as we are about to close out, what will you share in reference to success and making an impact, as you leave a legacy when it comes to soaring without limits?
Mm. I would like to say that my desire is that soaring without limits transcends way beyond me. My vision for us is to be in multi nations. We started
Mm,
off this discussion talking about us exploring and how we've traveled to foreign lands. My vision of this legacy for Soaring Without Limits Enterprises is that it will be able to help other women in various countries be able to start their own franchises as a result of the business model that I was able to start in 2021. So that is my vision, that this legacy extends way beyond me and goes down into other generations, other cultures, national backgrounds, and continues to invest in young women and as well as adult women to empower them to show up for themselves and then in turn be an advocate for another.
yeah, the showing up, the showing up. Because in order to, and this is what the victory moment show is about, in order to win, as we are about to close out and close out our chat, in order to win, part of winning is showing up. And yeah, they're sharing that May is Mental Health Awareness Month. I just could not.
Oh, that's what this month is? Okay, we should know that one, CK. Bad us.
You see my face, right? I'm like, okay. But anyway, yeah, it's showing up. Winning and soaring without limits is putting no limitations on what you can accomplish. This is what
Hmm.
I want to say before we leave. And my thought is, like you said, as as your enterprise talks about it, we talk about legacy, we talk about success, but
Hmm.
success is, again, actually soaring without limits, because you cannot, if you, and in that holistic way, in that mindset, the right attitude, the right mindset. And as you said, you want to share that not just with our culture, but you want to share that across the board. And
Hmm.
like I said, the experience that I had when I went to Jerusalem changed my life, because I realized how much we really don't understand, because if you don't explore like that, there's limits. Because
There is.
you really don't know what's happening and why, why this culture does it that way. But if that's how you were brought up in a particular home, that's what you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Until you are willing to expand and see that there's more possibilities for
More
you. So where
possibilities.
I'm
And
always
I always say this, endless possibilities. But go finish saying what you were saying.
Oh, I just wanted to share that where we started does not have to be where we end. We have the pen in our hands to be the architect to continue to draw out where we would like to go. So your beginning is not your end. So I definitely want to encourage those who may feel like they can't see beyond the corner block because they have never seen anyone else walk outside of that corner block. But there are people here who look just like you. We are illustrations to show you that it is possible to get outside of the realm of that bubble within a 2 to 3 mile radius of where you have always been, because your mom's been there, your daddy's been there, your brother's been there, your sister's been there, your big mama's been there. But there, all it takes is one to be able to break the chain and to start a new look for your
A
dynamic,
new
for your
cycle.
family.
Yep, a new
Mhm.
cycle, that with endless, and I'm going to say it again, with endless possibilities. And
Yeah.
I really appreciate, you coming and joining me today. you know um is there anything else you want to share when it comes to, Swole? Is there
Oh,
anything else
yeah.
you want to share in reference to that? And then let the people know where they can connect with you and things of that sort.
Right. So I definitely wanted to share that. That wasn't on that border that you shown. For those who would like to connect with me in reference to soaring, that is www.soaringwolimits.com. And as I said again, for those women who are interested in having their own tribe of like minded women, please be on the lookout in the announcement for July 1st for the Triple E Tribe Elevated Expand and Explore community. I would love, love, love to connect with you all. Social media, look for Monique Pearson, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. And then for business, you can look for Soaring Without Limits Enterprises. So I look forward to connecting with you all.
Listen, and we're gonna talk some more in reference to certain things, because definitely I'm interested in that expand, elevate, and oh yeah, that definitely is part of my, and I keep talking about it, and I'm a part of this whole elevate your value.
Mhm.
And y'all will see it, because I'm definitely going to be doing that again. I work with one of my other sisters in reference to elevating your value. And it to elevate your value, you gotta you ugh, it's all it's you gotta put it all together. And
Yeah.
listen, soaring without limits, you gotta put it all together. You got that mindset, your attitude, your all of that. And like you said, it's not just about traveling, it's about, again, that holistic, you know
Mhm.
the
There's so
spirit.
many secondary benefits to travel that I don't think gets enough credit. Increased confidence, the empowerment, the gratitude.
Empowerment,
That's definitely a big one
right.
that I've taken away is the spirit of gratitude that I have, especially being in disadvantaged countries. And then you come back home and all the stuff that we take for granted that we get every day. And then you go over there and see like that is a luxury to them. So there are so many benefits that you can get. I can go on and on. Those are
On and
just
on. Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. But again, we thank you, I thank you so much, the victory moment, to joining me as a co-host. I appreciate you and thank you for what you bring to the table. And again, she shared how to connect with her. Connect with her. Those on YouTube, IG, LinkedIn, all across our social media, and then, again, the BHC network. We're so excited, to keep elevating, as we bring on these guests. And listen, BHN, hit me now, where we connected at. Um, we are so excited to be a part of that, because they are just bringing great together and doing
Yeah.
so much, so much in what we're doing, in what they're doing. Brian is appreciated, with all he brings and what he does, and how he's been connecting and building us up into these next
Mhm.
levels. Listen, I
Def-
had to mention him, because part of us connecting is part of that network, and we
yeah.
are
Shout out
just
to Black Speakers Network.
Exactly. And don't forget, it says it right there, the BAC Media Network. Download the app and you'll see more in reference to what's going on, and more of my guests like Monique Pearson, that would, just elevating, just bringing value. I call it bringing value. So we are excited and continue to be excited to elevate together and keep going, as her enterprise swole, soaring without limits enterprise. I mean, I think that is a perfect name, and I know that had to be from God because
That's why
woo,
you see me made
it
sure I
had
told you that is where
yeah,
that name come from. It was not me. I prayed on that, and that's what he gave me, and I'm thankful because yes, it encompassed
yeah.
all.
And
Yes.
it just right, and it encompasses. And listen, that's why God, says that you acknowledge me in all my way, in all your ways, he
I
will
will direct.
direct your path. And
Mm,
I want to end off with that, because we are, women of faith, and just connecting to God first will bring the clear vision to what you need to, in order to elevate and keep going. So,
mm,
we are grateful and we are thankful for everyone that joined us. Listen, thank you so much for connecting. And like I said, look forward to seeing this on the BHC Media Network, on Roku and Apple TV and so forth. We are excited, and you're gonna find out more and more when it's going. The new episodes are going to be up. So we thank you again, those of you that joined us and connected with us. We're just gonna soar without limits, and that's what we're gonna do. So again, thank you for joining the victory moment, because that's what the victory moment is about: soaring without limits. I love it. Soaring without limits. Hey, it connects. So
Thank you,
it
Kay, for
does.
all the shameless plugs. We appreciate it. But it is true. It does connect in all areas of your life. And I definitely want to say
Right.
thank you again for having me. It's been a pleasure sharing with you and with your audience today.
So we're gonna sign off, and thank you again, everyone, for joining us on another episode of the Victory Moment. As again, just continue to soar without limits. Ooh. So yeah. So we are excited and continue to thank you again as we thank you and keep going.